My guest is Dr. Deepa Pattani. Dr. Deepa Pattani is a certified functional medicine specialist, best-selling author, as seen on Forbes, featured in Authority magazine, CBD specialist, LDN compounder, pharmacy owner, wife, and mom of two. Dr. Pattani equips frustrated, stressed professionals with tools to stop feeling fatigued, anxious, and hopeless, and feel sustained energy, in control, and healthy with her 7-step Pattani protocol that utilizes diagnostic testing and one-on-one coaching so they can live their best life yet. Over the past 2 decades, Dr. Pattani has worked in hospitals and long-term care, so she understands that treating the root cause is the only option. As an autoimmune disease educator, Dr. Pattani has helped patients manage weight loss, improve hormone imbalance, reduce medications, and decrease hospitalizations. She has helped over 500 patients in the last 5 years alone and has been a frequent speaker and educator for other medical professionals. Dr. Pattani has been seen on Forbes, featured in Dallas Voyage magazine, 2 times featured in Authority magazine, and has been a repeat radio guest and best-selling author of the book Unleashing the Story Within, which can be found on Amazon. She is passionate about utilizing CBD to reduce medication, microdosing with LDN, and holistic healing. And here we go. Let's get this show started. Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the Gaby U Show. And I'm welcoming Deepa Pattani to the Gaby U Show. Deepa, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Yes. Yeah, so happy to have you here today. So we're going to get into this podcast and we're going to get started. So one thing I'll always start with the questions I start with all my guests. I always start with what I call my icebreaker. This is Gaby's icebreaker. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is I want you to tell us, tell me and the people listening, what is your favorite food?
Ooh, my favorite food. Not considering if it makes me sick or not.
Yes, just anything. Hey, it could be healthy or unhealthy,
Just plain old cheese pizza, New York style.
Oh, plain old cheese pizza. Okay, yeah. So no meat on top or anything, just
New York style with the grease dripping off of it.
Oh, okay now, yes.
But yeah, given how much I can't eat it, yeah, it's definitely.
Yes. So, but when you decide to have that wonderful day that is I want a New York cheese pizza. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people that love that. I've had some parties where I will go and the children, they are requesting that they just want the cheese pizza. I'm no meat, nothing, because I'm I need meat. I'm no, just the cheese pizza. But New York style cheese pizza. I think the New York, have to specific which type. It has a different way it tastes. And I've been to New York, and of course, when I went to New York, I'm yeah, this is the place. I needed to get one. I have family that live there, so it tastes pretty good. Yeah, awesome. So I want us to go into some things now. So I want you to share with me the key things that you felt has made you to be the woman you are today. This, I know we can go all the way as much as we can, is it from career, is it from your job, being a mother, anything, just Open it up. Yes.
That's a loaded question, Gabby.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would definitely have to say the experiences, that I have been through or gone through in my life has kind of really shaped me for the person that I am. Definitely didn't have anything easy. so
Mhm.
so it was either like, let's toughen up and get cracking, or like, sit in a corner and cry. Like so but pretty much it's always been that way, ever since I was a little girl. Um so we came to this country when I was 13. So that was already a really difficult transition because, you're a
Yeah.
teenager, your hormonal changes that you have never experienced
Mhm.
before, you're in a new country. Um, and then you have an accent like that because you haven't picked up yet on the American accents yet. And so a lot of things you don't understand what they're saying, or they're speaking too fast. And, and I started high school on top of that. Like,
Ooh,
so it
hard
was,
time.
yeah. So, it was very difficult that transition was also like, going from someone who was very popular in school and everything to like going to a, very big high school where like nobody knows you. And you like, are nobody. Like that was very difficult. It's especially in those teenage years.
Mm.
So that would be like, one of those things. But it was, you find your tribe, I guess, at some point. Like, I had some good people that came up to me and said, let me show you the ropes of how things are.
Mm.
And, so blessed. So, I always realized that like God doesn't put things in your life if he doesn't think that you can rise to those occasions, right? Or those challenges.
Mhm.
So I always try to look at it with, well, okay, if this is a difficult situation, then what is the lesson that I need to learn here? And then we can move on, you know.
Yes.
So it's always been kind of like that. And then going to college was really great. Met my husband there, and so when we got married, we always just assumed that we would have kids as soon as we were ready to have kids. And then, of course, that didn't happen the way we
Mm.
wanted it to happen, which happens with lots of people, right? Like, so,
Mhm.
and then all these tests and trying to figure out what's missing or lacking. And everything came back normal. So it wasn't sure, like, for the first time, we were realizing what stress does to your body, when you're like really wanting something to happen and it's not happening, and
Mhm.
you think you're handling the stress okay, but you're not, like, and then also learned a lot about Ayurveda at that time, like we went to see an Ayurvedic um, functional medicine practitioner at the time. And, he was able to figure out like what was happening in my body, which was not supporting the sperm, and what was happening in my husband's body, which was causing the sperm to not be as strong, or whatever those reasons
Mm.
were, although all our tests were not showing any of these issues, but we knew
Mm.
something had to be the issue, right? But the
Mhm.
tests were just not catching it. So we fixed the diet, and just 3 months later we were pregnant. so
Oh.
so
Mm.
it's like the first indication of like, you change like what's happening inside, and all of a sudden
Mm.
things start to and nature kicks in and things work out the way that they're supposed to be working out. And
Mm.
then even when we had our son, like he had asthma, like when he was a little boy. And so we were in the ER every 2 weeks with him because he would catch something at the daycare,
Mm.
and then every little viral thing would cause him to be any kind of respiratory thing would cause him to have some kind of reaction, and then he'd be not breathing and wheezing, and we would be in
Mhm.
the ER, just filling him up with steroids. And it was just
Mm.
like, I don't know that I want to do this. He's such a little tiny baby. And as a pharmacist too, right, like you have that background, so you're like, this is not good for him. Like I cannot be
Mm.
giving him so many steroids when his lungs are still developing. And so at the time didn't really know much, but we would do just home-based remedies to try to break up the phlegm and to try to help him breathe, and to do the humidifiers and all that stuff that you can. But then now we learned that it was his environment that was causing all these different reactions in him. So when we moved from Virginia, we were back there then, and to Dallas, like all of a sudden everything was fixed. Like, doesn't mean that you just up and move, like, but had I known that, then we could have fixed something in the environment of the home to make it more conducive to how he was breathing or what his asthma was doing. But you kind of live and learn a lot of these things, and then that kind of guides your path to where you're going to be. So and now that I own my own pharmacy, it's just I would give patients their stuff, but then when it came to my own family, I would be doing all the herbal remedies and the natural ways of how to treat, and then that was kind of making me feel not very aligned with what but again, like, because my training was not in herbal medicines and alternative methods, like you can't be like taking chances with other people's families. So I couldn't really always guide them the way that I would have done things for my family. So then, that's when I met Christine, and then I figured this was the path, so that I could be more in alignment with what I feel, and then I can really guide people the way that I would guide my own family and my own people. So, and then if you can't force people to do anything, so we still have the pharmacy, and then when they're ready for real healing, then they know that I'm there to help them and walk that path beside them. So
wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I know. I know Christine. She's one of the people that is helping, practitioners to build their virtual practices using holistic medicine, functional medicine, which, the way your story, how all this thing is happening, they say there's always a reason why things happen. And it's just, starting from, young and all that, just leading you to the path. And I think this is one thing we should, those of you listening, that, some things, of course, when those are happening, it's not always a happy time. But again, it's another way of looking at what can I learn from this? Sometimes all this adversity, so to speak, is like a stepping stone into a higher thing. It kind of keeps you like, okay, how can I change this way? Let me go further. And I know, when you start looking back, you'll be like, maybe somehow it was good that thing happened, because if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here. You just wonder, where would I have been if this didn't happen? So of course, again, as I said, it's not always a pleasant time when such things happen, but it's just, at least, having those support, from, your people around you, community, friends, all that helped a lot. And that's the thing I was going to ask you too. So, during all this, your period in your life, from when you came here to America and all that, how much support would you say you got? Did you have family members here? Did you, friends? I know finally, of course, but I want to hear from you, like, how would you say that support in different ways helped you?
So I think, my family, we all came together. So it was all new for all of us. So it was good to be together, at least you're together. But, you're all in the dark together, like, so, we did the best that we could, with each other's support. And then a lot of the, my mentors, because I started working when I was 15, even like before you can legally work, like, I would just get paid like $3 an hour. I still remember, like,
it's something, you're making money.
It was something, and back then it was like, woohoo, like, bringing home something too and contributing, so that, and just the people that like had employed me, like, they were really good mentors. They knew that I'd just come, so they would teach me things like, okay, like, in a year or two, you're going to need this, and then you're going to need this, and then this is what you're going to need for college. So start to have all these ducks in a row, so that when you're ready, then when it's time, then you'll be ready for things. And so So it was great to have like those mentors that were there, and then also along the way you meet friends, and then they'll start to like help you figure it out too. Because
Yeah.
when I started that first day in high school, I didn't even know what a homeroom was, and
What is that?
I didn't know what lockers were, and I'm like, how do you open this thing? Like, how do you close the thing? Like, I was scared to even put something in it because I never thought I could open that lock again. Like,
Where is the lock? You didn't know there's
those round ones with
yes.
yeah, oh my God. So it was, thankfully, like all the people like filled in those needs, at the right times. And then in college we had a really good circle of friends, we're still all like in touch. So it's really great
That's
too.
good.
Yeah, so it was amazing, like, friends that kind of taught us how to drive to, like, we would teach each other how to drive or like, just explore new towns, to just having everything. And then I met my husband in college. So ever since then he's kind of been my supporter in all the
awesome.
crazy ideas that I've come up with over the years. And he has had no choice in that. So 20 years, yeah, we've been together. So
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so one of the things you were talking, I was like, so what were the things that made you to feel like you want to be a pharmacist?
So I didn't really ever grow up wanting to be a pharmacist. I just was always, it's not like something you think about, I guess, but I was always going to do something in the medical field. So that part was kind of really decided because I was not very big fan of math or physics, and so engineering and all that was like definitely out of the question. Like, like totally over the top, like don't understand any of it. But as long as, like, my phone works when I turn it on, that's all I need to know. And then so when I was applying for schools, my brother is a GI doctor. So, at the time, like I was younger to him. So I was always just following in his footsteps because he was here and he's exactly 4 years older than me. So when we came here and I started high school, he started college. And then when he graduated college, I started college. So it was kind of, I didn't really do any research. I was like, okay, well, whatever he did, I'll do, like, and so he went to medical school and I was like, okay, I'll go to medical school. And there was never a question like, what if I don't get in, or like, it just like the thought never occurred to me that I wouldn't get in or anything like that. And so I applied to the same school that he applied to, and I didn't even have a third school because I went to Rutgers University in New Jersey. And when you're applying, you have like, they have a bunch of colleges in that university. So you have to apply to like College of Pharmacy, business school, whatever, different colleges. And so I applied to like 2 things, and then I didn't even have a third college. Like, so I'm like, well, I'm going to be pre-med. I did like, all the pre-med stuff, and I don't know what the third college is. So my brother suggested, he's like, why don't you just do School of Pharmacy? And I'm like, why would I do that? Like, and then he was like, well, it's a good backup. What if you don't get into medical school? I'm like, why wouldn't I get into medical school?
He was looking ahead like,
yeah, I know. I was like, well, what if you don't? I mean, if you could get into medical school, surely I could get into medical school. Like, and so, but he's like, well, it looks good, and then make it your first priority. Sure. So I was like, okay, well, just mark all these boxes. And then I got in, and then he's like, wait, you got into the pharmacy school? I didn't get into the pharmacy school. Like, so he got into medical school, but he did not get accepted to Rutgers Pharmacy School. So he was trying to like poke fun at me, like, and he thought I would not get in, and then he would be able to make fun of me, but apparently I got in. So I took it, when I got in, and I figured it would be a good backup if I don't get into medical school. And then, so the plan was after 2 years, I would apply for the MCATs, but I absolutely fell in love with pharmacy by then. So I was like, okay, well, I don't think I want to change. And then he was like, you're just taking the easy way out because you don't want to sit for the exam. And so maybe there was a little bit of that too. But yeah, I was looking at his life at that point, and I'm like, you're still finishing up medical school, then you have 3 years of residency, then you have 2 years of internship, then you have an extra year of internship to specialize. That'll be like 6 more years. And I'll be like 30 before I would even get married. And then I'll have so much debt that I won't even be able to take time off when I have kids. Like I was like kind of evaluating all these things, and it wasn't seeming very appealing then, that I wouldn't have that time with my family, or the flexibility in my schedule and things, and I would have so much loan. So at that point, then I decided that I was going to stick with pharmacy so I could be more flexible. I can, do what I kind of need to do. And so then here we are. Yeah. So
yeah, it's like, I don't want to do all those 6 years. You're a guy. I don't know, for me. And yeah, I could see all that. I had something like that happen, it's similar to, because I was said to, thought about going to be going to medical school. I mean, coming from Nigeria, I came to America older. I was already married, had my baby was like 2 months old, I think. And so I was already married, and I already had my microbiology degree when I came, and, I thought I could do, medicine. But then I had other people who are like, how many years it's going to take, now you're married, it's going to be hard, talking about flexibility again and money, loan. And so I was like, okay, I should go into nursing. So
retrospectively, though, I mean, it would have been okay, because it's not like back when you're younger, you don't have that many responsibilities. So
yes,
it would have been okay to kind of finish it at the same time. But the choices we make. So
and you were enjoying it too. Like, why do I want to go? And you see, things happen that, you just find yourself where you are, like, because it's one of those things. Like my mom, I know we're talking about some things about professions, with my kids now, I'm just like where they want to go. And she was like, well, you always said you were scared of blood. That's why you didn't want to go to medical school while I was in Nigeria. But then when I came to America, look at me now. I mean, nursing, like, I guess I grew out of it, because I was scared of shots and everything blood. I will almost pass out or something. But then I came here and like, what happens? But, things just different phases in our life. Some things just, the things we might plan when we thought we were little, we think, but, life just happened and we just kind of go with the flow. And it's one thing I always say, it's never too late to reinvent yourself. This is one of the things I've just been seeing, like, oh, I'm too old for this, I'm too young for this. It's no, as long as you're still breathing, you are still alive, you can change. You can, doesn't have to be that this is the pathway, this is what I went to school for, I have to go, I have to stay here. Cannot. You can do it all together, or change if it's not fulfilling what you want at that time.
When you know better, you do better.
Yes. Oh, girl, you just like it. That is you're talking my quotes. That is my favorite quotes. Yeah, you have my color. You're talking my quotes. Oh, girl. So that is one thing I was gonna ask you at the beginning, but I think I got so excited. I want to hear all about you here. So, what is your favorite quote actually?
Is to always question everything. Like, that's what if there's one thing I say to everyone, it's always question everything. Yeah. Okay. Don't take, anybody can be an expert in whichever field, but always question everything that they're saying,
Yes.
And then that way you can be your best advocate, and even if it is something that you wind up listening to the advice, but you will be well informed on why you're listening to that person. And
yes.
And if you're more engaged in that matter, then your outcomes will be better too. So
do your own investigation.
I should rephrase that. That sounds a lot better.
I know I just threw that on you, like, oh, So, because sometimes I'm so bad with that too. Sometimes I want to say all these, quotes or parables or, words, and I just say it wrongly. And my husband is looking at me like, I told you, you don't know how to say this. Why are you saying it all wrong? I said, I know what I'm saying. I know it, but
I'll take the perfectly good quote and totally butcher it by the time
yeah.
I've said it.
Yeah, I think we understand. I think we all understand. The viewers will understand too. They'll send you a question and how to reach deeper. Ask her what she really means because we don't understand. That
True.
is so great. So, I mean, from, it seems like, you've accomplished a lot of great things in your life, and I mean, so I just want you to share with us, like, what would you say is the biggest thing you are proud of as a woman today? Just one thing. I just wake you in the night and say, hey, Deepa, what are you proud of? You can just wake up.
I would say, my family.
Okay.
My boys that gave me the blessing to be called a mom, and my husband who gave me the privilege to be alive. So those are
Yes.
my biggest blessings. Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how old are your kids again?
10 and 8.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting there.
Yeah. So like, thinking back to like when we didn't even know if we would have one, to like what life is today, and then you tell your younger version how stressed out you were back then.
Yes.
And so counting the blessings that we have today. So
And he gave you two. Yeah, that's the thing. You're like, I know I mean, probably many times you have that. You're like, look at us. We're just trying to just have one. One, please, God, just give us one. And it's like, okay, I'll double it for you. How about that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So your struggles are somebody else's ask, or prayer. So
yes.
what we complain about, like, and that we, our life is somebody's prayer, right? Like our own prayer, and also like we're like, we don't have this, I don't have that, but like there are people that are constantly struggling for just basic stuff. So
that's right. And that is just, having that heart of gratitude of what you have with you, not always complaining of what you don't have, but appreciate what you have, I know there's one that is very common to when they always use it to explain something about being grateful. Like, you are praying that, oh, I don't have shoes. I don't have shoes. And then there's somebody that doesn't have feet, doesn't have legs.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, I think I'm better than this, I should even be, I'm doing much better. So, not always complaining
perspective.
of that perspective mindset. Ooh,
yes.
That's a big one.
Like you said it. You gotta open that can of worms now.
Yes, mindset is everything. It's a big one that helps us in every aspect in our lives. So yeah. So I want you to tell me just one or some encouraging words, okay, you want to give to the listeners today. That woman that is listening today, or that man that is listening today, for his wife or for whoever. I know this is more, a lot of women talking, but what will be some of those encouraging words you want to give today?
So I think my biggest thing that I try to tell every single person that comes in contact with me is that rise above the labels, because especially in my line of work, we come across so many patients and clients that are sick, or they may not be doing the best, but there's someone in their lives that have told them that they're not like perfect, which is why they need this medication, like whether it's high blood pressure, or whether it's anxiety, or whether it's depression, or whatever whether it's any autoimmune conditions, or they've been told that something in their life changed, and now that they would have to take XYZ medication for the rest of their lives, and that's the only way that they can function. And I want you to call that out as bullshit. And that is the biggest lie that you've been told, because we didn't have all these issues up until a certain whatever age. When you were born, you were perfect. And of course, the disclaimer is that, you were born like without any issues. Like if there's some genetic issues, we can't like do much about those. But for most of us, that are being told that, because there's something that happens in our mind when we look at that bottle of medication and have that action of pouring out a pill and like taking the pill every single day. And it does something, and it sends messages to our mind saying that you need this to survive. And now all of a sudden you're a slave to that particular medication. And so when I tell them, like, that's not true, you didn't have high blood pressure, you didn't have autoimmune until you were 40, or, that means that something triggered it in your body. And so if you figure out what triggered it, then you can also turn that switch off, so don't take that as that, last diagnosis type of thing and go with that for the rest of your life. Like that's why I say question everything, always think critically. And you wouldn't, if someone told you, like, if your car was just making some sound and said like, oh, every day you got to give it oil, like, because it's leaking oil, like, you would be like, what is wrong with that? Like, like I cannot keep putting oil in there, like find the leak and fix the leak, And so think of your body as the same thing, if something's going on, like, you can't put things in it every single day, like figure out what's causing it, and let's try to fix that, So that's something that I want every person out there to really, really take that in, and don't stop until you figure that out.
That's right. Not putting a Band-Aid, but let's go to the root.
Yes.
The root cause of it. That's right. And I mean, and this is the same thing I would tell my patients too, talking about, oh, yes, my mom, my grandfather, my uncle, they have blood pressure, they have diabetes. So yeah, I'm going to get it. That's why I'm getting it. Or even though they haven't got it, they will say, I'm going to get it. I'm like, no, you have the power. And this is the thing now we have studied over time that yes, it's in your family, you have the gene, but we don't have to turn it on. We can turn it off, can turn it on.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like me, I know I did one test, I can't remember the test, but it was a test. It shows that, okay, I have a high risk of heart disease and all that stuff. I was like, well, I'm not scared about it because I'm doing all the healthy stuff I could do because I don't want to turn it on. I'm not going to turn it on. And that's why I'm trying to do all the thing I could do to the best of my power. So yes, that is a really powerful thing that, yes, you need to question everything. And there are so many options out there, and you don't have to keep dwelling on that one thing. You need to look for the root cause. Let's treat the leak, okay? Not just patch it up. It's going to bust out. And it's like, whoop.
And when someone says it's impossible, that just means it's impossible for them.
Yes.
Not for you.
No, it sounds impossible, but no, it doesn't mean it is generally impossible. You are looking at this impossible, but it's not. And this is what we're talking about, the mindset change. Very powerful, how we look at things and having those options out there, and this is a good thing. Love it that when I see functional medicine pharmacists, because you guys deal with drugs, man.
Legal drug dealers.
Professional drug dealers, but you are somebody that, you are seeing all the aspects of this, and you give them the option. When they are ready, they know where to reach you, because of course, not everybody is ready to change to these other methods, but at least they know that, okay, this lady is here. I can come meet her when I'm ready to see other options. So, that is awesome. So talking about that now, as we are going to be rounding up soon, how can people connect with you? If you can share that, and if you are doing any projects, anything we have to know what's going on there.
Okay, so people can reach me on my website. It's drdeepapattani.com. I'm also on Facebook as Deepa Pattani and on Instagram as dr.deepa.pattani, and then same Dr. Deepa Pattani on LinkedIn. So same handle in a lot of different places. And then you can send me an email or you can message me. If you have any kind of autoimmune conditions, we also have a private Facebook group called Healing Autoimmune and Pre-Autoimmune Naturally. So you can look for that. We have a really great community there that I share a lot of resources, and it's a very engaging community where people kind of do, answer each other's questions and help each other out too. So would love to see you in there. And then some of the projects that I'm working on right now, I am trying to finish my second certification in functional medicine. So I'm working on that. And I recently got my mindset training done. So I'm putting together a course to help people improve and strengthen their mindset. So I am seeing a lot of engagement from parents and moms, especially for their teenage kids as they're getting ready to go out there in the real world. They really want them to be well equipped in that mindset frame, especially since now we're seeing kids on all these medications from a very younger age, and autoimmunity developing very early on, and ADHD and all these things that we're seeing such a rise of all of these things. So the parents are trying to help get their kids the mindset that, hey, you don't have to rely on this particular pill to like help you in things in your life, and how to build that resilience, because you're just starting your life and you're going to have so many challenges ahead of you. So think outside the box and don't try to find a pill that will fix your problems and stuff. So very excited about that mindset course that's about to come out soon. And so working on that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, that is amazing. Yeah, that's mindset piece. Everybody needs to have it. So all these links, I'm going to be putting it in the description. You're going to see it. It's going to be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you can find your podcast. All these links for Deepa, you're going to be seeing them, so you can connect with her, and get your health better, and so many goodies here.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Yes, so thank you for coming, taking the time to talk with us today. And so this concludes the Gaby U Show today. And I want to end the show with my favorite quote from Maya Angelou that says, "When you know better, you do better." All right, I'll see you next time.
Thank you,
Bye.
Gaby.
Bye.